Welcome to Crafty Kim E. I have finally finished my black and white journal, which I just love, and the only way to showcase it is through YouTube because you can't really upload a long video on Facebook. So what I really love about this journal is that I've done the tabbed binding. So all of the pages lay flat. And I decided to call it Ebony and Ivory. Now, most of these pages and most of the things in it, I handcrafted my own black and white papers. You won't find hardly any digitals in here because I love to make my own everything for my journals. So, let's get started with the flip through. Now, I love fall, so there is a little color in here and there. And in this little envelope, I put my die cut leaves. Some of them are colored. I made these with alcohol ink and then die cut them out. I used watercolors on little tiny, I'm thinking what it's called. They're labels, like little labels you would write prices on and things. And that's what these are. This is a napkin that I really Mod Podged heavily and cut it out and glued it on here. And I did that with quite a few napkins. I love to edge my pages. This is from a book, and I love birds, so when in doubt, put a bird on it. And then you lift it up and there's just a writing space. Jot it down. Napkin. No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. There's a die cut. This is a jelly print in black, white, and gray. I doodled some and just some paper to write on with a corner tuck. Another writing page, a cool little envelope pocket thing that I made quite a while ago, and I have some doodles in there. These are my doodles and doodles of other people. I like to doodle houses, leaves, flowers. I love fish and birds. So these are my creations. This is stenciling. A bird that I received from someone. I made a dangle paper clip, and I used a tab from a can, a button, and so there's that just to hold this down. This is just a piece of black dyed index card and more jelly print. And here you open this up. Can we see this? Not really. Let me move it down and pull on this little tab, which is shipping tape that I used alcohol inks on. And you have another writing spot. A doodled mushroom and more of that tape that I used alcohol inks on. More of that shipping label that I watercolored with, what is it? It's like metallic watercolor. The only thing I haven't put on here because I forgot is the closure. And I do have something for that. That will be right here, this button, and I'll bring something up from the back. An art page out of an art book that I dyed. A little watercolor that I did. This little package with little things in it. A card, and you lift this up, and this was decoupage with a napkin, and you'll see more of this napkin. Here's some here. Lift it up, and one of my doodle birds. Another jelly print, and character matters. When you know better, do better. Index cards that I dyed black and white, some die cuts. And this is just a tag where I used a lot of my die cut leaves. In all actuality, I used the ghost part of it, what had already been cut out. I used that in a lot of this, and you can just journal on the back. Another one of those napkins that I Mod Podge to make edging, and just dyed papers. Another jelly print, one of my faces that I made and colored, and in my defense, I was left unsupervised. This is just a cluster of materials and such. Interest on the page, texture. This is one of those pages out of an art book on how to draw things that I dyed. I was really impressed with how it turned out. These I stamped. These are Ranger Delusions or something like that, and I just like the flowers. This I just left this way. Some satin to edge the page. A die cut with, so I made it into a belly band. This is a decoupaged ghost print of a napkin, and I think, is it that one? Let me pull this out and we can tell. Yes, it is this napkin, but one of the layers just laid down on there. This is a backpack tag, and this is little mark making, and on the back I put some doodled leaves. These are from my friend Bridget. A flashcard done up. Stick that in the belly band. And this also, and I do use things that people send me. And when I mentioned I was going to do a black and white journal, my friend Bridget and Linda Wild both sent me things. Another jelly print with more of those little labels on it that I watercolored in black and gray. Page to write on. A piece of a jelly print that you could use. And a card that someone had made and sent to me, and I just thought, oh, I kind of like this grungy look in there. I stamped and cut that out. This is a vellum page that I put a napkin on, some dangles, and more papers that I made stuck inside. Just some random old vintage newspaper clippings, an index card that I used labels on to make a flower. It's a journal card, and a beautiful dangle here with a paper clip. Wait a minute, no, this is a old style safety pin with some little pearls. This is a piece of I want to say wrapping paper. And so I had created some papers and used that, just took a piece out and used it. Another print, the ghost print of this napkin. And here's just another big paper clip with a couple buttons and a little notepad that has a little color in it. So you got a pocket there. This was a stencil that I used black gesso and white gesso. A cutout magazine doodled on. I put one of the extra napkins in this pocket. This is a leaf that I had die cut and dyed. A card, playing card that has been altered. A piece of the receipts that I dye and make into ruffles, and then this little card that my friend Bridget sent, and I put stuff on. And actually, I got these things from my friend Linda Hollers. And this is just another piece of jelly print that I put in for whoever gets this journal. So I love making journals, and I love this one because I could spend a lot of time on it. Piece of material, an old like postcard looking thing, another piece of vintage newspaper information, a pocket with a writing space made out of jelly print. There's lace and ribbon, another flower I made with the labels. This I made a long time ago, just black and white. Oops, this goes back here and this goes in here. This is a coloring page that I dyed. Here's more of that napkin that I made really thick. It's almost like rubbery. Just a little black and white, some pictures. A pocket, some paper, some jelly print, just some like lined paper in the pocket. And here, this was already folded like this, and I just put this little magazine thing that says America, land of the free, home of the brave. A little color pops out here with some doodling. And this is an envelope. This is made out of like cloth paper, and I dyed it. I added some lace, and then I put a little Velcro thing on here. There's a lot of sewing in here. And in here, I just added little pieces of black and white. This is a napkin I dyed, more of the ruffled receipts, and a piece of the napkins that I used. What else? Something else in there. A piece of this. So, you know, you have some supplies in here. And then the back of this has another pull-out journal card. And it works like this. I like interaction. And this is washi tape on top of white paper. I love to doodle and Zentangle. So here on a piece of my dyed paper, I Zentangled a little. A die cut stamped leaf, some napkin, more of that paper, and some extra stuff in here. You could use this for anything. Some of them, it's an index card that I dyed. Some of them I used as pockets or tuck spots. There's some of that receipt paper, writing space. This was all stenciled, and I put the ABCs, and then I thought, well, gosh, how about I put school on there? So I used the my jelly print to die cut that out. Just some cool little writing spots. And I just made this little journal card out of another flashcard. And I just put a lot of different elements on here. It is collaged and done up well. I had a little bracelet that said Optivist, and I put it in here on this lace. More of the vintage magazine. More jelly print that I made into a small pocket, double-sided. And in here I have another one of these. You can turn it over and write on it. You see my stitching on this. I could put something in these. And this was just something somebody had given me, and I decided to use it as a little tag. I like to reuse things. This is one of my favorite dyed pages. It reminds me of a sunflower. Just some cutout pictures. a doodle, and some magazine page. Another belly band that I die cut out. And then I just sewed on here black threads. And this is a stenciled, divider card for like index cards. Here we've got a little envelope, and inside the envelope there is nothing. Here's one of those dyed index cards that I used as a pocket. A piece of cool paper. I dye anything that I can. I love the sound of this. And here's more of that washi tape on white paper. More of that napkin that I made. This was a stencil that I used and kind of watercolored, drew in a little bit extra that didn't come with eyes or earrings, put a little bow in her hair. This envelope does have a little card in it and another little altered card. And it lifts up. This is this is a little tag that comes off with a paper clip holding it. These were Bridget's little hearts that I used. Jelly print, Bridget's hearts, another cluster. I had to get some junk mail envelope in there. This is something I had made a long while ago that just worked. Writing spot, and more of that vintage magazine page. And here I just use a cool, it was a triangular shaped little piece of little pack of paper, and I just made triangular little, I used all of it, and little doodles from Bridget. And that is it. And what, you know, I love the binding, the tabbed binding, because also you don't really get that gator mouth and everything lays flat. How cool. You see page, you know, you don't have like another page separating these two. They go together. So I just love the way this works. So this is my black and white journal, and actually it took me, I'm going to venture to say 30 hours with making the papers, dyeing the papers, doing the jelly prints, watercoloring the labels, die cutting, just creating this. And so, you know, people don't realize how much time and thought goes into our journals. And I have really slowed down on journals because I want to be more intentional on how I create them. My next one will be an autumn fall journal, and it will all be individual. You know, nobody could recreate any of these things that I've put in here, really. And I appreciate my friends who have sent me stuff. And so, you know, it is up for sale. I would venture to say that I will not take anything less than $150 plus shipping. But I think I figured out it has, how many pages? I had written it down. 18 pages like this, individual pages that are folded in half. Times 4 is like 72. So 18 is 30, 72 sides, not including the front and back. So that's my black and white journal. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. Have a great day.